Hello, hello, what is going on, YouTube friends? How is it going? So, some World of Warships Legends shenanigans. We are in the Nebraska, right? So this is the new hybrids that came out this past week. And I am just now getting around to doing a video on them, right? Because I don't get early access or anything like, or free access. No, I don't get squat, right? So, if you were following my live stream last, this past week, Wednesday the 3rd, right? So, yes, happy 4th to those in the States, and hope you had fun working on Thursday, those in the UK, right? So, but yeah, so on live stream, there was a request like, hey, do you have any of the hybrids? And I was like, well, no. So we went and did buy the sort of free-ish crates that have the chance to give you the early access, right? So there's like, I don't know, 4 or 5 that you can buy with silver and 4 or 5 that you could buy with global XP, right? So I maxed out, bought as many as I could, and we did get lucky and got the Nebraska, right? So you can get it basically, you know, somewhat free, right? If you go and purchase those crates in the store for the silver or global XP. So I think you can get a max of, I think it was 10, right? 5 for each currency, right? And then, you know, we played a game on live stream, and it didn't go so well, so I didn't play it anymore, right? So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna like regroup, play some games on my own, and see how it goes, right? And so someone had suggested using a different commander, right? I was stubborn and put on Azure Lane, New Jersey, because I had Azure Lane, New Jersey, right? I'm using that for a lot of my American battleship builds. And those folks that made that suggestion, you guys are absolutely right. So I put on Sims, was the suggestion. So we are using Sims now. With a couple of, you know, I changed up inspirations and stuff. I wasn't really using Sims for much of my builds for American ships anyway. So I've kind of tailored it, at least the best that I could, to these hybrid battleship carriers, right? So aiming is a little weird with the torpedo bombers, right? It does try to do some auto aiming for you, so you can see as you like move the you know, you use left trigger, right, to kind of zoom in and get that overhead view, and then as you move the move around the the right stick, it will kind of try and line up for you, so somewhat of an auto aim, but really it's just like any other torpedo shots, right? It's tough to hit. They're going to change course, right? And these torps move pretty slow. They can really see them coming because if they're paying attention, they can see the airplanes coming, right? So they're tough to hit, but they're decent, right? Like, they're decent torpedoes. So but that pops kill number 3 for us, right? We do end up losing this game. So I've got another game queued up here right after this. This is one of those ones where it's like you get the Kraken, but you really didn't deserve it because you got 3 kills and only 23,000 damage dealt, right? And this is going to be one where, like, we're really going to have to press and make something happen in order to get a win here, if that's at all possible. So, but yeah, so it was still a fun game. It's one of those scenarios where, like, I lost the game, but I actually still kind of had fun with this one as well, right? So I'm sort of trying to plan ahead. We've got another ship just to our starboard side, off to our right? And so I'm kind of planning ahead, like, we're probably going to have to use Will to rebuild at some point here because it's going to be 3-on-2 or, whatever, right? So, yeah, so as you can see, like, it kind of tries to aim for you. I'm not doing that. But then, yeah, you still have to make those predictions of where's that ship going to go, what are they going to do, especially when they see air torpedo bombers coming all of it, just suddenly, right? So we'll take the shot at the Alabama because he was almost not moving at all, and I was like, all right, we're going to have to guess whether he's moving forward or whether he's going to go forward or backwards. I thought maybe he was going to be moving in reverse since it was kind of slow there, but yeah. Oh, actually, he did do that, and he just was further ahead of what I was thinking, but anyway, yeah. And then if you notice here, too, I'm using HE shells quite a bit, right? So, and we'll do that in the next game as well. So my thought / strategy here is you've got these torpedoes that have a potential to cause flood, right? And it's not a lot, like, right? It doesn't feel like a high chance for causing flood. It feels pretty low. But, you know, if you can trip those fires on people, get them to use damage con, and then potentially get a flood, right? Or even vice versa, or like the other way around, too. If you hit them with the torps, trigger a flood, then you're shooting HE, and you can get a permafire, right? So, like, either way, it's pretty decent. You know, floods are obviously more painful for the enemy, but, you know, whatever's going to work out, right? And then I do, you know, I mean, the AP shells are really great, just like many other American battleships, right? But, you know, so I kind of switched to, you know, I kind of use HE more, and then if I notice, if I think I'm going to have a good broadside shot, that's when I'm switching to AP shells, right? So, yeah, so we'll try and see our luck here with aiming these. It's always like, and I think like the torpedoes don't travel, like they don't travel very far, right? So yeah, we get the crack in there with the fire. But yeah, so with this, you know, sort of damage over time status effect strategy, like we have a little bit of luck here too, right? So, so yeah, it had been working out for me in most games. Here we finally get a decent, oh nope, I thought we were going to get more than one torpedo hit, but again, only one torpedo hit. But yeah, so he may have tripped his, you know, the fire was out there, so he may have tripped his damage con as he was getting hit with those torps to make sure he didn't flood, right? But yeah, so then we'll get a fire on him here, and that one's going to burn, right? I was like, this is like so close to like we kind of have a chance here, right? The score is even, but they're capturing our base, right? So, and I was like, you know, like somebody needed to go back, or somebody needed to stay back and try and fight that fight, because just one hit or somebody in the zone, you know, on our side would have created the win for us. But we're all three in battleships, and everyone was kind of plowing forward, right? So nobody thought ahead, right? And I was kind of the lead, and so I was like, I don't want to turn all the way around, right? But I was kind of like, you know what? We'll try this. But, you know, since you got these airplane torpedo bombers, there is a range that they can go, right? It's like 13.5 kilometers with the Nebraska here. I'm like, let's just dump some torps through the zone. Just see. This was one of those, I'm like, you know, he's probably like over here, right? Because it's that way he could see the battleships. You know, he can see us if he's, you know, eyeing us up to see what we're doing and spot us, right? But we don't get a hit there, right? But I was like, it was such a good idea, and I was like, really like fingers crossed, like how cool would it be if we got really, really lucky there and hit him and reset the zone, because then we would have the win, right? So there is that element, right, of like that extra strategery, whatever you want to call it, right? But we'll fight off this Gneisenau, and they get the zone cap, right, for the loss. We'll see where we end up on the leaderboard, though. You know, we always got to check the team results. See, the Kraken, literally the only medal I have. But we did finally get up to like a respectable amount of damage when we broke 100 grand, right? And then that does put us at the top. And you know, if we would have won that, we would have had more XP than anybody on the other team too. So you get that. There's a little bit of a multiplier. I'm not sure. I think it looks like it's always like a 1.5 multiplier for when you win, right? So you get that better base XP, right? Walked away with some cash on that game. And yeah, we're progressing through the, you know, whatever this crap is, right? So, so this first game, so you can see here we're using William Sims, and for inspirations, I actually had HE shell damage here. For the next game, I switched it. I mean, I don't know what's going to be better. I think I liked the one that I switched it to. I forget the commander name, but his base perk is called like multi-tool or something, right? So, and I'll go through that change at the end of the next game here too, just to show you and kind of give you an idea. But he has like several. His base trait, the multi-tool base trait, is like several perks, and one of them's like secondary battery damage, one's main shell damage, one's plane, it's main shell damage and planes damage, and there's another one like for torpedo damage, right? But they're small amounts, they're like 2% right? So, but then yeah, I'm using Will to Rebuild, of course, you guys know me, but yeah, so this is definitely working out better than Azure Lane, New Jersey, which I was using for a lot of my American battleships, right? And then with the sort of idea or, strategy, whatever you want to call it, with trying to trigger both fires and floods, like Azure Lane, New Jersey just doesn't make sense, right? She's very AP shell centric, at least in my opinion, right? I like to just, she's that range AP shell damage, kind of king, right? But yeah, so yeah, Sims just seems to be working better. I also like I feel like these health is an issue too, right? So what happened to me on stream, right, was I played a game, didn't know what the hell I was doing, right? And then, and so I played some games just, on my own later, right? So here's the next game, right? This one's things go a little bit better here. But so I bought the standard upgrades that come with the ship, right? So we went through, picked those out, and then I didn't do the upgrades where you have to play through or use global XP, right? So I didn't have any of those upgrades when we played on stream. But what happened to me was I played a couple games and I kept getting put with a good chunk of tier 8 players, and anytime I'd run into a situation with especially secondary batteries, would really just chew through the ship really quick, right? So I was that was at the point I was all right, I spent some global XP, got the unlocks, picked those out, and then Sims was a good idea just because you get a little bit of extra health per ship tier or whatever it is, right? So that bumped us up almost it was 65,000 health without any of that stuff. So it was weak, and then you're getting put in games potentially with tier 8s, and so it was just brutal. I was just not having fun, right? So changed up the commander, spent that global XP to get the normally I'm stubborn, right? You guys know me, and I'm hoarding my global XP because I want to buy ships, but I don't really have any global XP ships on the horizon that I really, really want. So I'm you know what? Why am I not spending these, right? So we'll take our shot at this Nebraska. He has probably pushed in a little bit too far, and so we are going with the fire and flood strategy here on him, right? And he's being smart about angling, right? But he's in too far, right? And so he's getting hit from the other side of the map too, right? Because everybody can see him. Yeah, so he's gonna go down fast. So he had to put out our fire, right? And so if I had planes ready, we'd be able to send torpedo bombers here. And so we're gonna send bullets. And I just shouldn't have shot this, right? Too many people are shooting him, and I'm just felt like an idiot for even taking that, wasting those planes, right? You can't call them back. That'd be nice, right? So full health Nebraska over here was, basically not helping his team out, or his teammate out. So we'll see if we can't trip something on him. I'll, use auto aim and then kind of just tweak, since we're shooting HE, I like to just aim just slightly higher than what the reticle gives you automatically, right, as you zoom in, to try and hit those structures above above deck. Shrouder, I think this might have been one where I played a game without any upgrades, and the Shrouder had a secondary build. It was one of those German cruisers or something, and I was this German cruiser is just wrecking me with secondaries. So it's super frustrating, right? Alright, fire on the Nebraska. So as you can see, we're already up to 40,000 damage, right? Somewhat early in the game, right? 4 minutes in. I don't know. You could argue that's almost a third of the way through the game. But, and then this cruiser here keeps poking in and out, right? But he's going to struggle with just getting decent amounts of damage to us, right? We're being smart about angling. He's trying to fire spam us. We're being smart about not using, we're being smart with damage con for once in my life. So as you move this reticle around, you can see how it kind of auto aims, it kind of tweaks for you like that, right? So you want to make sure it's actually kind of done that movement. I think then what you would do is you could adjust it, you could tweak it manually a little bit right before you send them, to kind of as your predictor of what you think that ship's going to do, right? So he sees the planes coming, and so he slams on the brakes, and I think every single one of my torpedoes goes in front of him, right? And then you can always go back into that view just to kind of see. It's kind of nice to be able to have that like overhead view of the battlefield. But yeah, I think he stopped and didn't hit anything. But he's on fire, right? So we're getting some damage over time. You can see our damage ticking up in the top right. Right? He's burning. Alright, so this is a good opportunity for us to press in. I think I backed up a little too much there. Sometimes I find myself like just being too... Yeah, and we get that kill with that fire too. Sometimes I find myself being too defensive occasionally in situations like this. Like we could have been up in the zone. Like, alright, we're getting hit by radar from probably that cruiser that we can't see right now, right? But we can go in, start capping the zone. Like, right, we don't have any... There's no major threats. There is the destroyer somewhere, right? But... he's not spotting us. He's not capping C. Like, we can go in and press in for it. The only thing that's picking us up is that radar, and that's done with now. Now we're getting spotted again, so it's very clearly this cruiser. And so we'll take some shots at him. I think some people may not expect you to be shooting HE too, so like... like, alright, we'll move around here. So this is that scenario where I'm like, alright, he's probably just he's gonna see the planes coming and he's gonna hit forward, right? So alright, here's the destroyer. I can't believe that destroyer is just still just chilling in there. I mean, he must have been sending torpedoes at that, you know, our friendly battleship and cruiser up there. But now that he's getting picked up, like, we should be able to take him out here. And yep, yeah, we do get 3 hits on that cruiser with the torpedoes. I'm getting better with those. Yeah, if you watched my live stream, it was just absolutely god-awful. I had no idea what I was doing. So, but now, and you know, I even made the comment, like, I don't think I'm going to like these, right? And now I think I'm going to like these these ships, these hybrids. So, you may see more of these from me, especially as they come out of early access, right? This is going to be the only one I have until early access is over with, right? And then I forget the name, but the legendary tier 1, right? You got to spend just a ton of money on the like random bundles that are available right now to have that chance to get that one, and it's so much. But yeah, I saw like some of the bigger YouTubers out there watch some of their videos with it, and it looks awesome. And then it is going to be available eventually as a bureau project too, but not for like a year, I think. So if you want the legendary tier 1, you've got to like fork out a ton of cash, which I'm just not willing to do. I don't have that much to spend on this game. Like I feel like I've already spent too much as the years have gone by, right? That's how they get you. All right, so this Nebraska, so we sent our HE shells at him just because we had them loaded, but he's giving us decent angle right now. So I switched to AP rounds, right? We did trigger fire. And then, of course, yes, he's turning in now because he's paying attention to the minimap. What a jerk. And then there's what, in Awami, or there was some Japanese battleship out there too that's coming in hot here. Oink. I have also noticed like a lot of games where, man, just, yeah, like, you really, like, these are, like, when you get hits with these torpedoes, you're like, yes, but yeah, like, if they're paying attention, they're gonna see, you know, they'll see the planes pop up on the minimap, and there's a good chunk of time where you can, you know, to be able to dodge those, right? So, I think, my opinion is pretty well balanced if you're someone paying attention, right? But otherwise, if you sit there and just take all the torpedo hits, like if you get hit by all, you know, the Nebraska dumps 4, you get hit by all those, it's pretty brutal at that point, right? So somebody else finishes off the other Nebraska. We've got a decent shot at this Awami here, if we can make it happen here. I think he starts backing up here, and so he doesn't quite take too bad of a hit from us. And then we're going to keep AP loaded for the time being. But we may switch back here because he looks like he's going to start to angle. I kind of like, you know, my, you know, thoughts and feelings and opinions are like, you know, usually I let it load, whatever I've got loading, send that and then switch so, you know, I could get the most amount of bullets on the way, or, you know, like throughout the game. And then, yeah, we'll dump torpedo bombers just because he's going to go, right? I just like send it, get rid of these, see if we can get something on target. I think we miss out on this kill too, yep. This one went a little bit better for us XP wise, especially, you know, because winning always helps, right? 2600 XP. I will continue to play these. I think thus far I'm enjoying them, right? And I'm kind of happy. This makes me feel better. I'm still kind of bitter about how they changed aircraft carriers, right? To just this, like, you know, damage dealing carrier, you know. That's all you do now. You don't help out. I feel like you don't help out your team anymore when you play as a carrier. You just go off and do your own thing. But yeah, so we're using William Sims, obviously. The only thing I've changed here that I think I'm going to stick with, at least for a little bit, is this guy, Pedro Lima Santos, right? So he's got this like, sort of 3-perk situation, which helps out like, you know, you have secondary batteries on the ship. They don't have the greatest of range, but then you get the more torpedo damage and the more main battery and plane damage. So I'm not sure how that stacks out, but like that seemed like a good idea to me. And then of course, yeah, range accuracy is kind of my, you know, my play style, right? And these ships are pretty good with that. So I'm picking those things. And then of course, will to rebuild is my, you know, my addiction there, right? You guys know I have a problem with that. You know, I think like fight fire with fire is always a really good choice too if you're sick of getting fire spammed. I just like I either learn my lesson and complain and throw my controller when I mismanage damage con, or if I'm actually patient with the game, I do it correctly and then I feel better about having will to rebuild, right? So but yes, that is our 2 games for today in the Nebraska. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying my channel, please make sure you follow, like, and subscribe, all that other BS that everybody tells you, right? I am still a smaller channel, so I don't get a lot of YouTube perks yet, right? We're trying to get to 1,000. That's the sort of starting point when you can start really chugging away on the YouTube. So help me out. Really do appreciate it. I really do notice when I get new followers because, yeah, I don't have a lot, right? Thanks again, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.